Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Can you hear me? Or should I scream? بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Yesterday, we just touched on the Battle of Badr, and we talked about the Prophet ﷺ and his character during the war. I want to focus on one Sahabi, and I'm going to ask you if you know him or not. His first name starts with Jim, and he was young and was a joyful person, meaning that he would often make the Prophet ﷺ laugh and the Sahaba. But he was young, had a low self-esteem because he wasn't really handsome. So basically for him to get married, it was slim to none. So anybody would know by any means the name of this Sahabi? He was beloved to the Prophet ﷺ. His name starts with the letter Jim. The letter Jim. No, Jamal Abdel Nasser is the president of modern day Egypt. No comparison. His name is Julaybeeb. And Julaybeeb was beloved to the Prophet ﷺ. And the reason I'm talking about Julaybeeb, because it shows you one aspect of the personality of our dear beloved ﷺ Muhammad. He was a human being before he is a prophet. Okay? And he was a leader. We talked about his leadership aspects, his ability, how he led the Muslims during the greatest battle in Islam, the Battle of Badr. But at the same time, the Prophet ﷺ, for him, for over 13 years, he built a society. He built men, real men, among them Julaybeeb. Julaybeeb, because his appearance wasn't too appeasing to would be married to somebody, he had low self-esteem. So the Prophet ﷺ uplifted him from nothing to a man who got killed shortly after he got married, and he killed 7 people who in turn killed him during a battle that was called for. And the Prophet ﷺ carried him, because he loved him so much, carried him with his 2 hands and buried him no ghusl. By the way, the martyr, he is martyred for the day. He is not, they don't wash him. They just carry him, because the blood and the wounds on the day of judgment will witness for this martyr before Allah Azza wa Jal that he has spared his life for your sake. So I start, Julaybeeb radiallahu anhu, he had the best character, sweet man, make you laugh. You sit down and make you laugh. Very, very sweet, very beloved to the Prophet and the companions, and everybody knowed him. And he was young and wasn't well known, really. And he had no chance of getting married. He wanted to get married, but he had no chance of getting married. So the Prophet ﷺ loved him so much, and he said to him, as a joke, he said, Julaybeeb, how come you're not married? Why don't you get married, Julaybeeb? And then he said, just the Prophet ﷺ joking with Julaybeeb. Again, the human prophet is showing his humanity, joking with his companion. Why don't you get married? So they're laughing, with each other. And the Prophet ﷺ Then he responded, he said, وَمَنْ يُزَوِّجُنِي? Who would give me his daughter for marriage, O Prophet of Allah? Then, he was surprised by the question. And because he is not known, he is not from an honorable lineage, like, Umar ibn al-Khattab, Abu Bakr, these come from, famous branches of Quraysh, they have lineage, they have families, they're wealthy, but Julaybeeb is a little guy, unknown, no lineage, no family, no beauty, nothing, nothing going for him, radiallahu anhu. So, and he said, "O Prophet of Allah, who will give me, his daughter for me?" He said, Prophet ﷺ said, "I am going to find you a wife." And I said, "So we do." Then the Prophet ﷺ, when he said this, he uplifted Julaybeeb to heaven. By just saying this, imagine, subhanAllah, if we can emulate his personality, we can create the same men that the Prophet ﷺ created men in our children. May Allah guide us, Ya Rabbi. So he broke this weakness in his personality, this low self-esteem is shot to the, no more. He is, Allahu Akbar, the Prophet is giving me his most attention, and he's going to get me a wife. And I am, who am I? Who am I? I am nobody, And the Prophet himself, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he is taking care of him. So Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, before that, there is one Sahabi, his name is well known, his name is Abu Barza al-Aslami. His real name is actually Nadlat ibn Ubayd. Abu Basra al-Aslami was a very generous man. He would always take care of the needy and the destitutes, anybody who is miskeen, faqir, and so on, will take care of them, support them, find food them, shelter, and so on and so forth. But Julaybeeb was a bit, didn't know the etiquette, so he would go, because since Abu Barza would take care of the sisters, women, a lot of women, and then Julaybeeb sometimes may, go among them and so on. So Abu Barza was really mad, and he said, "I shall do for him this and this," and then, was angry at Julaybeeb. Well, Julaybeeb didn't know the etiquette, so basically that's what transpired. So then this incident reached the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and then the Prophet ﷺ, because of his wisdom, the way he would correct any misbehavior, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he went on to say, "I am going to take care of this man, and I'm going to find him a wife." And of course, one time, the Prophet ﷺ, there is a man, he knew that he has a daughter and ready for marriage. So what happened is, he's one of the Ansar. As you know, in Mecca's society was divided between Ansar and Muhajirin. So the sister, the Prophet ﷺ, the woman he was intending to marry Julaybeeb to, she was from among the Ansar, so her father from the Ansar. And so what he did, the Prophet ﷺ asked him, "Would you give your daughter for marriage?" The man was so happy. The Prophet ﷺ is asking me, to give my daughter for him for marriage. No, the Prophet ﷺ said, "No, it's not for me, it's for somebody else." So then, he said, "I don't need it, but I need her for Julaybeeb. She's not for me, but I'm asking her for Julaybeeb." So the man felt happy, And what happened is, but before that, before all this, during the time from the time the Prophet ﷺ talked to Julaybeeb, say, I'm gonna find you a wife, and so on, was working with Julaybeeb to prepare him for that next step, to prepare him for marriage. And one of the things is that, the incident when he told him, I'm going to give you marriage, and then the incident when he had an issue with Abu Barz al-Aslami, and then, and then reached the Prophet ﷺ, he would sit down and speak with Julaybeeb, and, so he was uplifting him slowly, getting him ready for that moment. So, when the Prophet ﷺ spoke to this man, and he said to the Prophet ﷺ, well, before I say anything, I need to consult her mom. Then he went to her mom. He said, the Prophet ﷺ asking for, our daughter for marriage. The wife, the same thing. She felt happy and elated. The Prophet's going to marry my daughter. And then he said, no, not for him. It's for Julaybeeb. And then when she heard the word Julaybeeb, he said, no. She said, no, wait. We will not give her for marriage, even though Prophet is asking, The daughter was hearing all this conversation. The daughter was hearing this conversation, and she immediately said to her mom, how can you turn the Prophet ﷺ down? How can you turn the Prophet ﷺ down? Because the Prophet ﷺ, famous hadith, most of us know, he said, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, when a man comes in with his khuluq, etiquette, has good khuluq and deen, then you have no reason to reject him. Otherwise, the Prophet ﷺ said, a fitna will spread on earth. إذا أتاكم رجل ترضون خلقه ودينه فزوجوه إلا تفعلوا تكن فتنة وفساد في الأرض. That's the meaning of the hadith. Okay? So the woman, she said, if Prophet ﷺ came, I agree. I will take Julaybeeb for marriage. So, subhanallah, one of the things is that when the woman heard that, and you hear it colloquially back home too, also in our, back home, she would respond, and the word she used, Julaybeeb nihi, Julaybeeb nihi, we say, Julaybeeb, that's how we say it back home, Julaybeeb, 3 times she repeated this. So it was the kind of, it's a reaction, maybe natural reaction, maybe acceptable, because every mother wants the best for her daughter. But she forgot that who is asking for marriage. She forgot that the Prophet is the one who's asking for marriage. The Shaykh who is narrating this story, he said that this woman, this girl who accepted to marry Julaybeeb, had a very wise, she was very wise. She knew that the Prophet ﷺ had brought a real man, a husband who will respect her rights, who will treat her with dignity, and who will honor her. No question asked. No question asked. What the Prophet ﷺ said is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I take it. But remember, who is the teacher here? Who is the one who taught Julaybeeb to be what he is and be the real man is the Prophet ﷺ. So she was wise when she said yes, no question asked. It's a beautiful story. Touched your heart. So they got married. Her response as follows. I just want to tell you her response. When she asked, the daughter asked her mom, she said, Man khatabani ilaykum? Who is proposing to me. Then her mom told her, Julaybeeb. She said, تردون على رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أمره. Then you reject the request of the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم. ادفعوني. Give me for marriage to Julaybeeb. No question asked, no second thought, nothing. From the Prophet, I take it. That's it. فإنه لن يضيعني. Listen to this, أخي. My dear sister, brothers. Listen to this. Prophet ﷺ said that if a man comes in with good akhlaq, manners and etiquette, okay, good character, great integrity, good reputation, good deen, the Prophet ﷺ give him for marriage. Give him, unless you have some other objections that are, legitimate, fine. But, give him for marriage. Otherwise, mischief will spread on earth. So the Prophet, she said, لن يضيعني. That's what the Prophet said. I agree. I marry, Julaybeeb. إن كان قد رضيه لكم فانكحوه. Then since the Prophet ﷺ is satisfied with this man, then give me out for marriage to him. What a wise lady. What a wise lady. One thing, the commentator on this hadith is saying that this woman, okay, did not worry about the looks of Julaybeeb, did not worry about how tall he is, how healthy he is. She only took him for his deen and akhlaq and character. She trusted the Prophet ﷺ, and she took him for that. So that was a great honor for her to marry Julaybeeb, who was proposed to her by the Prophet ﷺ. So she was given out for marriage, and then he got married to Julaybeeb got married to. The hadith doesn't mention the name of the lady, or not even the name of the father. It's not relevant here, but as long as we understand the story itself and learn from it, and apply it in our lives. One thing that the Prophet ﷺ did when they got married, there is a dua, as you know, when two get married, say, Allahu barak Allahu lahuma, wa baraka alayhuma, wa jama'a baynahuma fi khayr. That's what the Prophet used to make dua. Barak Allahu lahuma, may Allah bless them. Wa barak alayhim, may the blessing be upon them. Wa jama'a baynahuma fi khayr, may Allah combine them, unite them in good. That's the dua that you make to two the newly get married. The Prophet ﷺ made a special dua for this sister. And the dua is so beautiful. He said, Allahumma subba alayha al-khayra sabban sabba. ولا تجعل عيشها كدا كدا. So, what this dua means, oh Allah, pour upon her khayr, goodness, sabban sabba. Twice he said it. Pour on her plenty of goodness. Plenty of goodness, he said it twice. And then he said, وَلَا تَجْعَلْ عَيْشَهَا كَدًّا كَدًّا. And don't let her be depressed or sad in her life. The story says that after the martyrdom of Julaybeeb, this woman became one of the wealthiest women in Medina. And all of her life was basically giving her wealth to any needy person because of the blessings of the dua of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Let's talk about the martyrdom of our beloved, our master Julaybeeb. So Julaybeeb, about maybe a few days after he got married, then the caller for jihad comes. The time of that's before Badr. They used to have these little skirmishes every now and then. So the Prophet ﷺ would call all the Sahaba, go for jihad, let's go. You know, and then, so the Julaybeeb got ready, went on. Of course, he's a man who was raised by the Prophet ﷺ. He was disciplined by the Prophet ﷺ. You know, so without hesitation, he didn't say, well, I just got married, I'm on my honeymoon. And you know, he didn't say, right away, he went on for jihad. And it says that, you know, when the battle was over, the Prophet ﷺ was looking, asking the Sahaba, who is missing? Who was killed? Who is missing? And then, you know, would go around. Actually, he was looking for Julaybeeb because the others, and then the Sahaba would say, so and so got killed, so and so got killed, so and so, meaning famous Sahaba, okay, that got killed. So they know them, but nobody knows Julaybeeb. Only the Prophet ﷺ knows Julaybeeb. So he asked this question like 3 times, and every time nobody would answer. He said, "Julaybeeb ma'ahum, is Julaybeeb among them?" They said, "Oh yes, O Prophet Allah, Julaybeeb is with them." So the Prophet himself, I mean the others were buried, you know, by the Sahaba, but the Prophet himself went on, and then they say, how did he kill? He asked the question, how did he kill? He was killed actually fighting civil people at the same time. They actually, you know, hurt him so much to the degree that he passed away, you know, died because of this. And also he did fight them so hard that they all passed because of his, subhanahu wa ta'ala, martyrdom. So the Prophet ﷺ comes in and then picks up Julaybeeb, carries him and buried him, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, in his grave. And he said, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he said a very beautiful statement. He said, Julaybeeb, أنا منه وهم مني. The hadith, part of the hadith says, فقال قتل 7 وقتلوه هذا مني وأنا منه هذا مني وأنا منه هذا مني وأنا منه. The Prophet ﷺ said, and what an honor to Julaybeeb, he said, he killed 7 people and they killed him. He is from me and I am from him. He is from me and I am from him. He is from me and I am from him. The Prophet ﷺ says that he is part of me, Julaybeeb, and that's how dear Julaybeeb is. So the merit of the story, it's a beautiful story because it tells us the human part of our dear beloved sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and then how we can emulate him. It talks about marriage here. It talks about how we as parents, as colleagues, as friends, as brothers and sisters, we should always uplift each other. We see somebody who is down, who is sad, who is distressed, that we should come to their help and lift them up. Sometimes one word can uplift somebody to the sky, and one word can put somebody all the way down and destroy their lives. So it's very important for us to always, you know, encourage, especially our children, build in them this, you know, this good character. Talk to them about, talk to them about the Prophet ﷺ, us learning about the Prophet ﷺ. So I wanted to really mention this because it's really a story that, I'm sure it touched your heart. It is so beautiful. May Allah Azza wa Jalla subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us and makes us among those who emulate the Prophet ﷺ, who walks in the footsteps of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم استغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. May Allah accept from us, inshallah.
Ameen.